Good morning, guys. So today the time is start 4:49, 4:59. Okay, 4:59. 1 minute early compared to normal days. Yay! So finally, at a minute before 5, full. So good morning, guys. Good morning again. Coming back to the daily pointers. So hope I am audible. So I see some noise distortion is there. Please bear with me because there is a network issue today. So I will try to be as much loud as possible. For some reason, there is a too much distortion today. So what about coming back to the feedbacks? So yesterday, mm, even though I had a very less amount of sleep, then also, then also I was able to spend the day pretty well. It was going slow after lunch, but I somehow pulled that thing and kept focus on what I was doing. So that was the one thing. Let me adjust this first of all. Yeah. So I kept on pushing yesterday because the yesterday, not the yesterday night. Um, Today is like 11th. So 10th, the 10th day night, I had a very less amount of sleep and it was continuously breaking. Yes, so I woke up, and while waking, I was not that much fresh, but somehow the day started. First 2 3 hours is very fresh. Once you woke up, that moment is dull. Later on, after half an hour, it becomes active, and once your brain start to functioning, so that's the reason it is said whenever you're waking up and doing your morning chores, immediately do some kind of exercises so it will activate your brains. And when afterwards exercise, maybe the timing of exercise would be like 10 minute 15 minute, whatever you it fits to you, yoga, stretching, jogging, running, anything, any kind of exercise which will help you stimulate your brain. So then you do the study part or reading part or anything you want to learn, the special learn thing. It can be anything. It's not just here to mark up from the book itself, but whatever you learn, that part becomes way focused and clear. Because when we just woke up and had a tea and then when we start reading it, then we feel a kind of sleepy. And if that topic is very boring, what we are studying, then we feel more sleepy. So to avoid that, you need some exercise for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. After what you do, you won't getting that much sleepy compared to if you're not doing any kind of body movements and just you're doing like brush or taking tea and continuing the reading. Some people have developed that skill by doing that, but after doing this, you will see a difference in that because your brain was not that much activated in the certain the inputs what we are taking is registered in the brain, so that activity becomes much more better in this condition when you do kind of some exercises. That's it. So that's it for the feedback part. And yeah, I want to add this into this today's session. So even though yesterday I have a less amount of sleep, I started sleeping around like 11. Somehow stretched till 11. Yeah, till 15 minutes, 20 minutes I went to sleep. Once I around like 3:30, 4 o'clock, I had a break in the sleep. Again, I continued and woke up again. So still there was only 1 or 2 days in this whole 16 days of journey where I was able to sleep one go, like sleeping at A point and waking up at B point. So that there is no A, B, C point. So if you're having that one continuous sleep, your day starts and then continues. The start of the day somehow you are fresh, but later on the day is pending, you get that dullness. So that doesn't your sleep is very clear and continuous. So coming back to the point to Facebook ads. So we have talked about yesterday the policies and the photography tips. So today I will be talking about the audience selection. Tips, 4 tips of selecting your audience. So as you will be knowing now, ad object, what is ad objective, ad creative. So and what is the ad creative formats. So when you create an ad from your page, you need an audience. Else you would you need an audience for your Facebook page. Then only you will drive your business, right? So audience can be built based on the location, interest, and demographics or other characteristics. So when you create an audience, you will want to think about the characteristics of the people most likely to be interested in your product, service, or business. So narrow your audience accordingly. So point number one, consider your current customer base. If you have some people like doing organically and building a lot of audience, so consider that audience first. So think about what they like, how old they are in the age wise, and their interest they have. This can help you identify audience options that will help you reach people like them on Facebook. So similar people like them on Facebook. So to understand your existing audience, so that is the point one. Consider your current customer base. For example, mm, if let's say your majority customers are women, so it might be a good idea to set your audience to reach women and exclude men. So your budget won't be wasted on that, and your business will be start performing better. Also, the second example will be think about the interest of the audience. Let's say if your company is making running shoes, so running is like sports shoes. So you might look for the interest related to the running part across country, fitness, wellness, or other related activities. So don't just look for the people interest, like common shoes, because if your specialty is in running shoes, you won't be targeting just for the shoes. You target for the audience which are like a fitness or a specific who needed your product or services. So no focus, consider your current customer base. That is the first point. The second point, audience can be a specific or broad. So there are pros and cons to both. So so keep an eye to the size of your audience as you're creating it. If it gets too broad, add additional audience options. If it's getting broad, add the options to the audience. If it is narrow, try removing some. So it's example, let's say a specific or narrow audience may be more interested in what you are advertising than a larger and broader audience. So if you use too many audience options. So what I said, when you have a broader audience, yeah, you need to build the audience options for it. So if you use too many audience options at once, your audience may be too small and specific to be effective. Even though if it is a border, you don't have to create audience options. You need to create, but that much where you can have a visibility to your ads, and you can acquire that kind of audience for respective ad campaign. Too much ad option will again leads to narrow audience, so that shouldn't be happening. Mm, yeah. With the broad audience, so you are going to rely more on Facebook to find the best of your ads. For broad, what I was saying, audience may be too small and specific to be effective with a broad audience. You are going to rely more on Facebook to find the best people for your ads. So in this, when it is a broad audience, so you rely more on like Facebook, and a broad audience can be a good approach if you are new creating audience. Facebook on Facebook and aren't sure about what option to choose. So broad is good for the people who just started and you don't have your audience and you want to build the audience. So in that case, it will help you build your audiences, and you will get your relevant audience, and then you can have your first point current customer base on the basis of the audience you have drive so far. So third point, watch the audience meter to see whether your audience is too specific or too broad. So whenever you create an ad, so you will have that audience meter on the ad campaign. When you fill the data, the meters just start fluctuating and will show the range, like it is good or it's average or it is not good. So that kind of meter is there. So if the indicator is in the red section of the dial, consider make your audience broader. Wait 1 second. Consider your audience like, so if the indicator needle is in red situation of the dial, let's say the indicator is red, so consider making your audience broader. And if the indicator is in yellow section, be aware that large budget may be required to reach a significant portion of your audience. So it is in red, then you required more audience. If it's in yellow, then the large budget may be required to reach a significant portion of the audience. So test and iterate. So you have to keep on testing. It's like you have to check what is the audience, then you have to check the meter. Then when it comes to like mm, okay part, then you can go ahead and then you have that much ample of audience, so that you when you perform ads, it will give you benefit out of it. So create one specific audience and another that's more broad. See one specific audience, one another which is broad, and see how that affects your ad results. Adjust and try again as needed. And remember to save your audience later. So you do this testing, keep on iterating, and then save your final audiences. So this is the third thing. Third is like a meter. You have to audience meter. The fourth is like test and iterate. I do got mixed in the third one itself. Fourth is test and iterate. So test and iterate is like one solution doesn't fit for all. So you have a specific audience and you have a broad audience. Whenever you perform something, you perform in both audience and try to extract the audience which are relevant and performing much more better way, and try creating a list of that. So whenever you do these kind of exercises, you will get your audience, and And when you perform a new campaign, then you won't be getting that much trouble to get your business running, to get your business leads, inquiries. So that's the beauty of the audience. In broad, there are huge number of audience in their Facebooks. Mm, in the start itself, we said that this Facebook has a 2.2 billion users, which 1.2 billion users are active daily. When you create a campaign and you reach people, when it comes to business, you need relevant customers. Sales part and the conversion part is the second factor, but you need a relevant person. Then only the sales will happen. There is no guaranteed option on the Facebook panel that you click and you will get conversion. For compulsory conversion is there. For this now, let's say this budget, this conversion is much. There is no metric beyond that. You have to do that testing. You keep on test your ads, and then you will start getting the funnel. You may get less inquiry, and you may get more inquiry. So these four things regarding your audience, selecting your audience. So create your existing audience customer base. Second is like audience can be specific or broad, their pros and cons. And third is like audience meter. If it is red, consider making your audience broader. If it is yellow, aware large, but if it is yellow, large budget you may be required to reach significant portion of audience. So when your budget is there to see the audience bucket, so you have that required budget for respect to audience. Fourth is test and iterate. So these are the audience segments which yeah. So these are the tips for selecting the audience. So today's 4 points covered. Let's go to the third point, which is movie. So today I will be recommending you to watch 127 hours. Yeah, this is a movie, and yeah, it too has a meaning behind it. 127 hours, and it is a real story based. So I will give you like very short hint. So in this movie, a man get trapped, and as it happens, out of nowhere, if let's say that is happening to me somewhere, and initially we if this is happening to most of the people, so we get panic, we get shocked, some start crying, but this guy, however, faced the situation where he has to cut his hand and bit his arm. So for anyhow, this 127 hours of brutal pain for Aaron. The guy name is Aaron. So he get trapped somewhere, and the incident happened where he had to cut his hand. He was bearing that pain, making the decision, even though the decision was brutal. The pain was brutal. Then also he was making a decision, and to live. So if you want to live that much desperately, so even though the decision is very bad, you take it. So that is what the movie teaches. It teaches about like patience and doing the right things. You require a lot of patience, and the main message is like there is no force more powerful than your will. If you have a will to do a thing, if you have will to live, the guy has a will to live, and that's the reason he has pulled it out. That particular, even though it was that particular hours, he had pulled out, and he was live. So do watch that movie. You will get to see, even though in pain, even though in a lot of challenges, he made out. So in life also, you have to keep pushing yourself to become a better version of. today. Then only you can grow, and you can have that adaptive nature. And no doubt patience should be there, discipline should be there. Then only when you achieve something, that that achievement would have some kind of meaning behind it. You will be getting a lot of happiness and satisfaction because of your this journey, this undying effort. So that is the beauty of the victory. That's it for today. Any question you have, any question regarding market AI, Facebook marketing you have. So currently I am reading the Facebook blueprint, and also the people who are interested in the YouTube kind of programs. There is a creator academy in the YouTube where you can learn and also have their exams. It's a very simple exam. You can complete it. So there is a two, three popular courses. It required hardly a day to complete. If you want, you can divide it into like 2 days by taking the breaks, and you can complete it. So do that. Do that kind of. First of all, find out which things you like or which things you love, and then start molding your interest in that direction. Build the resources. Work on work on the output, and what are the resources required. Start focusing on that. It's okay. You have less resources, then start taking slow. When the resources is built, then go for the big jump. So that's it for today, guys. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Do subscribe me, like and share. And this is like and share. It's like an option to you, but subscribe there is no option to you, because once we are switching to mobile, then we don't have any live streams. That's it. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Take care. Stay safe during lockdowns and work hard. Build your interest. This is a duration where you can have your interest build up very fast, and also you can learn and you can acquire multiple talents. Bye bye.